Welcome to Trash Talk.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Trash Talk, the podcast where we talk about all things biogas, from our company culture to industry hot topics. We're glad you're back as we continue our conversation with Steve Allman, Heather Sawyer, and me, Eric Sternberg. Let's pick up right where we left off and dive deeper into reliability, support, and long-term success of biogas equipment manufacturing companies.
All right, Steve, I'm going to come to you. You've rested enough. What kind of challenges arise during equipment integration, and how can the right manufacturer help solve them?
That's a good question. And one thing that comes to mind right off the bat is if you have multiple manufacturers, you have multiple control systems. When you try to go through the steps to start up a plant, it's a lot harder because you're going through a lot of different programs and a lot of different pieces of equipment. What we do is we have one PLC system. And it's an IO system. We go to each one of the skids. They all tied together and they all talk to each other. So we know when this skid over here sends an alarm, we know exactly what that alarm is. It goes to the main PLC. And then we tie it to a SCADA system where the operators are sitting there with 3 screens on the wall and see everything that's going on in the whole plant. And they can operate it from that one place. And when an alarm shows up, they know exactly what it is, and it's quick to repair and get going back. I'll just put this plug in there. We normally run 95% online time or greater.
We build our equipment and we use our equipment. So how does experience with real-world plant operations influence equipment design?
Because you run that equipment for a while and you learn ways to make it better. So you keep improving it. When you have an outside supplier supplying you a piece of equipment, a lot of times they don't get that feedback from the operators because it's a different company. And sometimes those companies don't even want to know what the problems are. We've sold you a piece of equipment, it's yours, go with it. But we can continuously improve that piece of equipment just by getting that feedback from our own operators.
Yeah, I think having that voice of customer is extremely valuable. I mean, we have it internally, but having that relationship with our external customers is very imperative for us to grow together, and having that feedback loop allows that to happen.
What happens after equipment is delivered, and why is that often where the real partnership begins?
When a skid is or a piece of equipment is delivered to a site, it's a little different on our internal projects than is an external project. So I'm gonna give you an external project. The equipment is delivered on site to a site that we are installing. We have people on the ground before that skid even gets there. And we make sure it's placed properly, it's put up properly. We make sure everything's hooked up properly. And then we're there to start that piece of equipment up. We do a runoff for the customer. The customer approves the equipment once we get it up and running for them. If something needs to be tweaked, something needs to be changed, we're there to do it for him. And before we leave that site, we want to make sure that that piece of equipment is ready to operate and 100% ready to go.
That's where the partnership goes to a different level, because that partnership has already started well before that point. But that's where the rubber meets the road. And that's where it's, okay, our product needs to meet a certain performance criteria. And that's where our first chance to show that. But we're there, like Steve mentioned, there's boots on the ground. We're able to dial in, make some adjustments, make some tweaks, and be able to meet or exceed their expectations. And we're present in doing that. And really that relationship's just really getting started at that point, because as we all know, the landfill is a living, breathing organism that continually changes. And so our products may have to be versatile and adapt to those changes. And that's where we're there to support them. And we strive and take, I'll say, pride in allowing to provide our customers the product to allow them to be successful.
What should customers look for in service responsiveness and technical support when they call in?
I think you should be the best person to answer this question.
Oh my.
I'll give you my 2 cents. And I think with me being here a little over a year now, I haven't got to see a whole lot of this. But when I think of quality product, I think of quality service. And depending on if it's, plant down situation or it all depends on really what the customer needs will determine how we need to react. And I think having the right people in the right places with the right processes allows us to be able to meet their needs or exceed their needs. And a lot of times, like we just had last week, we had a scenario where we had it wasn't a plant down because they were able to patch it, but we acted as if it was a plant down and we expedited some things to exceed their expectations. And I think sometimes being able to have that flexibility to do that we test ourselves internally.
And as far as my thought on that with that scenario, there was a total team effort across the board from the moment the email or phone call came in to engineering stepping in, helping to find the part, working with the on-site team, making sure we have the exact part and what they need, and actually getting it out the door, getting our welders on it, getting QC on it, testing it, all of those things. It wasn't just putting a part together, welding this pipe, and shipping it out the door. It went through an extensive process. And I think that makes my job easier when I can work with a team that's like that all the way across the board.
Because a lot of the things that we provide aren't just sitting on the shelf, right? No. So we have fabrication, we have design, we have a lot of people touch those components before they get out. And that was a perfect example. I think it went through every piece of our organization here.
Yes.
And we turned it around in 2 days.
Yes.
So
yeah. And that was I haven't been with the company long, so I can use the newbie card. That was the first time that I was able to jump on board on the train from the beginning. And that was phenomenal. It was phenomenal to work through that process and see that go out the door and have the site say we received it. It was beyond what I was prepared for, I will say that. And I have been in customer service for quite a few years. So I think I'm going to pick on Steve a little bit since he's been here the longest. He's got some years, under his belt kind of thing. So how has biogas processing equipment evolving now and evolved over the years?
Some equipment has evolved, but a lot of it is the same equipment we started with back when we put in power generation sites. We started building equipment to clean the gas before it went into the generators generating power to get more longevity out of the equipment and have less failures and less breakdowns. And we just took that equipment and modified it a little bit to use in landfills to actually clean up the gas before the gas goes into a pipeline. But the equipment has grown in technology with the controls, but the base iron part is usually, it's about the same as it was 10 years ago. And there's several things that we have done to improve our online times. There's been some changes in membrane technology for separating CO2 out of the gas. And we've actually made some processes with that equipment to even make it more consistent. You can't get to 95% online time in a big plant that's got 12 different pieces of equipment in it without constantly improving.
The technology has changed, but also there's a lot more pre-treatment process that what we have now versus what we were treating the gas with before it went into the gas engines. And, seeing it go from the flare to the engines to now to the RNG space, our system is probably, we have 11 skids now to where back then with the engines, how many? Three.
Yeah, and it's the different processes. So for the engines, we were taking siloxanes and VOCs out, and that was basically it in the water.
Yeah.
Now we're taking everything out of the gas to 95% pure methane before it goes in the pipeline.
Yeah. It's pretty neat to see, going from the beginning of that to where it is today.
I like our thought of taking a wonderful product and making it better. You know, it's tried and true. You just make it better. You build on it.
Leave it better than you found it, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, both of you guys can open up about this one, but what motivates your team to keep improving?
Our core values. Leave it better than you found it. And each one of our core values, we hire and fire by our core values. If you don't follow our core values, then you need to be somewhere else. Being company surrounded by people who embody our values and achieve our goals is equitable and promotes purpose and encourages our employees to create a meaningful quality of life. That says it all. I mean, and leave it better than you found it. Yeah. And everybody has to follow that.
I mean, Steve nailed it. Our vision and our mission is spot on. And I think it's, what motivates this team is what we do and the products that we deliver is we leave things better than we found it. We strive to be better. Everybody has that willingness to improve, and nobody's willing to settle. And I think that just shows the magnitude of the people that we have on our team.
This is a company that actually shows that every day. When you come to work and you try to show out with those values. It's wonderful. I'll just leave it at that. It's wonderful.
Good deal. Well, Heather, thank you for leading the charge here on Trash Talk. And for everybody who has joined in with us, please subscribe, forward, and we really appreciate you joining us for today. Till next time.
Bye.